Heather Honey is not a detective. Heather Honey is not a detective, lawyer, or physician, nor does she play one on YouTube. Although, she does have a Bachelor's of Science degree in education. Opinions are her own because she is stingy.
This is a true crime channel. Some videos may have content that is disturbing to some and contain coarse language. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, friends. Welcome. How is everybody in the chat? Did you bring snacks? Or you got your PJs on? Let me know in the chat if what'd you bring for a snack? I have got Premier Protein, pumpkin spice, shocker. Anyways, so I got that in case I need a snack. Of course, I got my water with my Skittles, sugar-free drink pack that I love. Hope y'all have had a fantastic Friday. I have. We'll wait just a little bit. Wait till we get maybe a couple of more people in the chat. Hey, Jamie Lou Freebush. Glad to see you here tonight. Don't be shy about the chat. That's what it's there for, is for us just to hang out and chit chat and talk about the stuff I'll be talking about tonight. So I'm excited. I'm so sorry about yesterday. I really wanted to do it yesterday, but my sinuses, aggravated my vestibular problems that a lot of y'all know about. So it was like a no-go. So we rescheduled it. Took some Alka-Seltzer. I feel so much better. So I am super excited. It's Friday night. We're going to have a live. We're going to talk about some Murdaugh documents, but we're really going to focus more on Miss Becky. And we're going to see what's going on. Okay. Yes, if you are watching, sign in the chat. That's one thing. I'll be going over some, like, I don't know if you want to say rules or instructions, but about the chat, as far as like, just be sweet. But we'll go over that in just a second. Okay, it's about 5 after, so let's go ahead and start some chit-chatting. So again, welcome, friends. I'm so excited that y'all came to hang out with me, of all people. And a huge shout out to the rewatch crew. And for those of you that are new to like watching YouTube and coming to these lives, our rewatch crew are the people that aren't able to make it to a live stream. So they try to watch it when they can. Because once this is over, it will be uploaded onto my channel to be watched later. So anyways, huge shout out to the rewatch crew and of course my lovely friends that have showed up. All right, so let's talk about some channel and chat rules. I haven't really done this before, and they're just basic, just simple, common courtesy, but be sweet to each other. We are going to be having discussions in this chat. Hopefully I can get this community of friends to grow, and we're going to have, I could be talking and some of you guys are going to be talking in the chat to each other, and that's fine, but be sweet, because not everybody is going to have the same opinion. And that's the whole point of this platform, is for people that have the same, I don't know, ideas. Like, we want to better the justice system. We want to advocate for our missing. We want to talk about true crime things that are going on and what we think and how we feel about it. And that's fine, because that's what it's here for. Too many people have withheld how they felt, not trying to make things better. And that's what this chat and my channel is all about, is just educating each other and just, I don't know, just hanging out and talk about good things and not so good things. But whatever the case, no arguing in the chat. I don't tolerate that. And like I said, it's okay to have different opinions. Just please keep it classy. All right. And another one last rule, or whatever you want to call it, is be careful about giving your identity information out. Like, don't put your whole name and address and say, hey, so call me, or here's my, blah, blah, blah ID. No, don't do that. This isn't Facebook where it's like small community stuff. You don't know who's watching this chat with us. And I don't mean that in a scary way, but just beware. And the other thing is, when we are discussing these trials, cases, victims, defendants, whatever we're talking about, you never know who is in the chat. I'm part of several communities with true crime that I join, and I just enjoy the people and what they have to talk about. And come to find out, one case we were watching, the defense attorneys' children were in. Now they're grown adults, not like kids, but still, they were in the chat, and we didn't know it until after the trial was over. Which I didn't say anything rude. I mean, some people did, but I didn't, because I thought he was great. But whatever the case, you just never know who is in the chat. So just please be kind and be mindful. Okay. And then one other note is, I have some lovely things to the side up here that has a thumb and a bell and comment and share. So please subscribe and share my channel and my videos, and like them, please. And also comment, because it helps. I know everybody has heard the term algorithm, but it really helps the algorithm find me in this whole sea of YouTube live streams and videos. And then it turns around and recommends my channel to others. So It would really help me a lot. I would like to eventually get this channel monetized, and I would like to, um, be able to do more with it. So please, be a sweet friend and do that for me. I truly appreciate it. And all right, so let's move along. What do we have? All right, so let's finally get started after we got all that out of the way. Oh, one other thing. I hope you like the Halloween decoration, because I am all about Halloween. That is like my favorite time of year is Halloween. So I even have, let's see if you can see them, but I've even got these little skull earrings. They got a little bedazzle to them. But anyways, I wore them, even though you can't really see them back here. But anyways, and then I got the background all decorated, and I put some cobwebs up just for you guys to help celebrate. Okay, now I'll shut up and we'll move up. Let's see. Okay. So, in case you missed it, I'll get there in just a second. Bear with me. It's a one-woman show. I don't have the luxury like some people who have like 50 people behind the scenes running all their stuff. It's just me. Okay, so in case you missed it, this is Murdaugh and Rebecca Hill, and then Murdaugh's defense team, and that played really fast. I'll play it one more time. And let's see here. So I do not know what is going on with my computer. Bear with me. This is the great thing about live streams. There is no telling what will happen. I may lag. I might freeze, but my voice is still going. So there's just no telling. If that happens, just refresh and we'll try to wing it from there. Okay. So in case you missed it, Alex Murdaugh's defense team, which is Richard Dick Harpootlian, aka Poot. Yes, you heard me right. That's what a lot of people on Twitter and the social media platforms call him. Also, Jim Griffin and Philip Barber filed a motion on September 5th, 2023 to suspend appeal and for leave to file motion for new trial. I know that is a bunch of garbledy whatever that doesn't make sense. And that's the whole point. We're going to go over it in a little bit. But let me give you a little context to what we're talking about. So anyways, they filed this motion based on after discovered evidence in the Court of General Sessions. In other words, after the Murdaugh trial, of course, they appealed. That's just a natural thing, is they're going to appeal the verdict and try to go to a higher court. Well, after the fact, they filed this motion that we're going to go over tonight, that and it has exhibits, which I love exhibits. It's like when you're writing a paper and you got to back up all your what you think about something with facts and all kinds of stuff. So not only did they write this motion, they put some exhibits in there, and I was so excited because that is some, y'all. I was like, dang, they really gave it to her. But anyways, so we'll see. But anyway, so they are claiming allegedly that the clerk of court tampered with the jury by advising them not to believe Murdaugh's testimony and other evidence presented by the defense, pressuring them to reach a quick guilty verdict and even misrepresenting critical and material information to the trial judge in her campaign to remove a juror she believed to be favorable to the defense. Rebecca Hill maintains her innocence and denies all allegations. Now, if you're not familiar with Alex Murdaugh or the trial, Alex Murdaugh is a disgraced South Carolina attorney. His family is like a dynasty. in South Carolina, and it's like a small town where, and my friends, y'all know we live in small town USA here in Alabama, so you will totally find this relatable. But anyway, so he was accused of a bunch of financial crimes, and he also was accused and convicted of murdering his wife Maggie and his son Paul. And on it was March 2nd of this year is when the jury found Murdaugh guilty of the murders, and he received a life sentence. Yeah, I watched the whole trial. It, like, from beginning to end, and it was, wow, it was a drama show. It was a little bit of a hot mess, and now this is going on, and I don't even know what to say because it's crazy. All right, let me check the chat here. All right. Jane Lou Freebush is having a good old time in the chat. Thank you. Don't forget your snacks. Make sure everybody's in their PJs. Okay. So let's talk about Rebecca Hill, because a lot of people are like, who's Rebecca Hill? What is a clerk of court? Blah, 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 blah. And so Rebecca Hill is the clerk of court for Colleton County, South Carolina. And like here in Alabama, or at least where I live, we don't call it clerk of court. We call it a court clerk. I mean, it's the same thing. I don't know why I guess they want to sound a little fancy up there in South Carolina, but down here in Alabama, we just call it court clerk. Okay. So the clerk of court there in South Carolina, each county has one, and they are elected officials. So that means the people of that county voted for Becky Hill to be the clerk of court. She was elected in 2020, and this is her first term. And the term lasts for 4 years. So this is her third year. So I guess it ends next year, but it might end sooner. I don't know. Anyways, so what does clerks of court handle? Because I was like, what they do? Well, I mean, I know I've seen them like in the courtroom, and she was actually the one that that read the verdict, that, you know, he was guilty, that Murdaugh was guilty. So, but that's all I know. I knew she was like kind of, I don't know, they sit in there next to the judge. She read the verdict. I mean, I don't know. And that's the whole point of me doing this and my channel, is because here I am at my age that I'm not disclosing tonight. And there's a lot of stuff that I should know that I don't about our justice system. And so that's why we're going over this. So the clerks of court, they handle docket management. They receipt like fines and fees and costs. They maintain court records. They submission of reports to like variety of state and federal agencies. They also handle, and this was the main thing. I mean, there's a lot of things that the clerk of court does. So don't think that I'm downplaying this at all, because there's a lot more. I just don't have all night to list what all they do. And plus it can be a little different in each county. It just depends. But they're also in charge of jury management. So the basics, they make sure, like, once the jury, you know, has been chosen, and they're going, you know, and they have qualified to be jurors for whatever trial. Okay, so she makes sure that, you know, when they come in for court, that they're checked in, and she makes sure that they get breaks and maybe, you know, like refreshments. Make sure, not necessarily buy, but hey, we have a vending machine down the hall if you need something. Here are the bathrooms. At lunch, Sometimes the court will pay and have their lunch there. Sometimes a court will say, hey, we got a cafeteria downstairs. You pay yourself. But, and then they sometimes recommend local restaurants. It depends on the court. It just depends. But whatever the case, so she like kind of, tells them what to do. And I just feel like it's kind of like a concierge service for jurors, just making sure they're taken care of. All right. So when you're summoned as a juror, you have the most important job in the courtroom. And I don't feel like that is an opinion. I really believe that is a fact based on, I've been watching trials for over a year now. And this is the part that is so important because these group of people, they have the power. And you as a juror become part of the process that people say is broken. And no matter what level of court, it is imperative for jurors to take their job seriously. I don't care if you are on a murder trial or if you're on some trial where somebody robbed the 5 and dime. I don't care. Your job is important and you should treat it as important as if it was a criminal trial, as in like murder. So just remember, when and if you do jury duty, please remember your job is so important. And that is part of what a lot of us are trying to convey to the communities. It is important. Don't just try to get out of jury duty because you don't want to do it. I mean, you will learn so much about how the system works, and you never know when you might be in a predicament, and at least you'll have some knowledge about how the court system works. So like I said, it needs to be taken seriously. And if anyone interferes with a juror's job, that is serious business. Like jail time and big fines, serious business. And that's what Becky Hill, well, let me rephrase that. That is what Murdaugh's defense team has alleged that the clerk of court, I mean, like she runs that courtroom, and they're saying she did jury tampering. Can't talk tonight, but I also got a cough drop in my mouth. I'm sure that's a no-no, but I don't care because it's my channel. Ding. Okay. All right. So back to the chat. All right. So one thing, it's very daunting for jurors when you're not supposed to talk to people, and who do you ask, who do you talk to, what am I supposed to do? But I'll tell you one judge that I've watched that I just love. His name is Circuit Judge Jeffrey Gillen, and he is from the Travis Rudolph trial, and he gives the best detailed instructions. And he has 4 cardinal rules. And I want to play this right quick for you. Because when I listen to other judges and they give their instructions, it's like blah, 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 blah. But the way he words it, it's like he just makes it so simple. So anyways, check this out.
Them to you multiple times. I'm going to give them to you one more time. The 4 cardinal rules. Thou shalt not engage in any discussion, even amongst yourselves, about this case until you get back there in the jury room to begin your deliberations after the end of the trial. 2, thou shalt not do any research of any kind, electronic, in a book, talking to anybody else about this case or what others believe the law to be. None of that whatsoever. No research whatsoever of any kind at any time, even after your deliberations begin. 3, keep an open mind. You still have not heard one teeny, itsy bitsy little bit of evidence yet. You haven't heard any yet. I'll let you know when you're going to hear the first bit of evidence. And 4, In the event, during a break, you'll be stepping out of the courtroom and somewhere outside of the jury room. It is conceivable that you'll run into one of us. You'll see one of us out. And by us, I mean myself, I mean the lawyers, I mean Mr. Rudolph, I mean our clerk, I mean anybody. We will not talk to you. We will duck you. We are not intending to be rude, as I've said before. We are simply trying to make sure that there does not even begin to be the appearance of an inappropriate communication between any of us and you. So please, you duck us, we'll duck you, and everything will be hunky-dory. All right. We are now, any questions about anything I've said? Excellent. All right.
Okay. You can't get any more clearer than that. So in other words, it's kind of like that. I think about when you're a kid or even as an adult and you're taking a test in class, and back in the olden days, we used pencils to take our tests with. I don't know what y'all do now. But anyway, so if you dropped your pencil and then had to lean over but couldn't reach it, and then you would tell the person next to you, hey, will you hand me that pencil? And then the teacher would look up and it looks like you're talking to them. Well, the first thing she's going to think is you're cheating, right? So that's what he's saying. Like, don't talk to anybody. And that way, nobody's going to accuse anybody of anything. But there was some stuff going on and I can't wait to share it with you. But anyways, so maybe wrong. Anyways, love that judge. Okay. So why would, I got to thinking, she is an elected official. Her term is not over. So why would the Clerk of Court write a book about Murdaugh's trial? I mean, she was one that was there the whole time. She read the verdict. She's still in her like she still has the job. Like usually people don't write books until they've retired or they don't do that job anymore. Why would you write it while you're still in the chat? I mean, in the chat, excuse me. It's still in office. That makes no sense to me. I mean, that's just opening yourself up to a lot of problems. You wait till after you're done, but whatever. But anyways, so, I want you to check out this clip. If you haven't seen Pretty Lies and Alibis podcast with Gigi, please do, because she is fantastic. And she interviewed Miss Becky Hill about when the book came out. I think it was in August. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. And but anyway, so let's listen to Miss Becky say, why she wanted to do this book.
To write this book?
Well, there's people that have said that a clerk of court has never written a book. And
and Miss Becky is the one on the left with the blonde hair and the turquoise looking black outfit. Not sure. But anyways. Okay. All right. And I'll start this back.
I have said back, well, why not? Well, this has been called the trial of the century. And this is so big and so huge, it needs to be told. There's so many things that went on behind the scenes, and that's what this book is mainly about. What went on behind the scenes of the doors of justice through the Alex Murdaugh trial, and so many other stories that just stem from that.
Okay, so nobody else has done that. Okay, great. I'm glad nobody else has, but there's a lot of stuff that went on behind the scenes, but you don't spill it in a tell-all book. Okay, maybe it wasn't a tell-all book. I don't know, because I've only seen portions of it, but Come on now. Y'all, I can't. Who does that? All right, let me look in the chat. I don't know if I can see everybody because I'm through StreamYard. Jane Lee Freebush, if you see any questions in the chat, please answer them because I don't know if I can see them. Anyways, oh, and also if you have any questions, put a Q in front of your question, and that lets me know that you have a question for me and not just, talking amongst yourselves in the chat. So that's okay too. All right. And don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already, please. I made some Halloween cutie stuff for you to see, so please hit the like. Okay. Okay, so any questions? I'm going to look one more time. Okay, no questions. All right, so now we are going to dive into this lovely document that Murdaugh submitted, this motion. Let me make sure I get the right one up. Let's see. Nope, wrong one. Love live stream. I'm just kidding. Okay. All right. If you can't see it, I'm sorry. That's the best I can do right now until hopefully later on when I get monetized, I can get a better computer and be able to make it bigger. So until then, and honestly, I can't see it. I'll have to fix it myself. Oh, come on. Let me see if this will help. Nope. All right. I'll do it the way I had planned to do it. Okay. So the document shows, and just to let you know, it's a 65-page document. And we are not going to go over every little bit things. I went ahead and made notes the other night when I went over this. So the court, well, this was filed on September the 5th. And it says motion to suspend appeal and for leave to file motion for a new trial. So what they are asking the state of South Carolina Court of Appeals, because remember, I told you they already filed an appeal. So what they're saying is to suspend it. In other words, put a pause on the appeal because they have discovered possible, witness tampering. I keep saying witness, jury tampering. And so they made this and provided their proof. So it reads, Appellant Richard Alexander Murdaugh, blah, 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 of the South Carolina Rules of Criminal Procedure hereby moves for leave to file a motion for a new trial based on after discovered evidence in the Court of General Sessions and to suspend this appeal during the pendency of the motion. Appellant offers a copy of the motion for a new trial attached as Exhibit 1 and its own exhibits labeled Exhibit A through Exhibit L as the memorandum in support of this motion and documents supporting facts relied upon not contained in the record on appeal as required by rule blah, blah, blah of the South Carolina Rules of Appellate Procedure. Respectfully submitted, Richard A. Harpootlian and Philip Barber. And then my page is different. Bear with me. Oh, here we go. And then also it has listed James Griffin and Margaret Fox because they are, even though they worked on the team together, they are from two different law firms. All right. So let's go ahead and we are going to look at, let's get to the next, to Exhibit 1, which is the copy of the motion for a new trial. And then we'll look at the exhibits. Now, remember, this is only asking them to pause the appeal process. This isn't, saying, oh, we're going to get, a new trial right off the bat. It's it's a process. So first they have to request for the appellate court to pause, to stop, the appellate procedure. All right. Let's move along. There's my lovely notes. I love to highlight and use red. So, and if you can't see it, don't worry, because I'll read it to you. Okay. So, of course, and I'll say like blah, blah, blah. And when I say blah, blah, blah or whatever, that's just like some kind of rule and a big long number or a law and a big, we're not doing all that. I just want to break down the stuff so that you'll understand what's going on and that I'll understand what's going on. All right. So this is a motion for a new trial. And it says, Defendant Richard Alexander Murdaugh, hereby moves the court for a new trial after discovering that the Clerk of Court tampered with the jury by advising them not to believe Murdaugh's testimony and other evidence presented by the defense, pressuring them to reach a quick guilty verdict and even misrepresenting critical and material information to the trial judge in her campaign to remove a juror she believed to be favorable to the defense. And one thing I've learned about these motions is when they're written up, they kind of tell it like it is. It's not like, it's formal, but like that part where it says, her campaign to remove a juror. That's a little dramatic, but they put it in here. So, and like, it's not just theirs, it's other ones I've seen too. So reading on, it says, during trial, the Colleton County Clerk of Court, Rebecca Hill, instructed jurors not to be misled by evidence presented in Mr. Murdaugh's defense. She told jurors not to be fooled by Mr. Murdaugh's testimony in his own defense. Ms. Hill had frequent private conversations with the foreperson. Well, we already discussed what the 4 cardinal rules were. And y'all know how Judge Gillen was. You duck me and I duck you and all that good business. Okay. So she told the jurors not to be fooled by Mr. Murdaugh's testimony and his defense. She had frequent private conversations with the jury foreperson, and the foreperson is like the head juror kind of thing person. A court-appointed substitution for the foreperson the jury elected for itself at the request of Miss Hill. During the trial, Miss Hill asked jurors for their opinions about Mr. Murdaugh's guilt or innocence. Miss Hill invented a story about a Facebook post to remove a juror she believed might not vote guilty, which has to do with that substitution foreperson that was mentioned earlier. Miss Hill pressured the jurors to reach a quick verdict, telling them from the outset of their deliberations that it shouldn't take them long. And she did these things to secure herself a book deal and media appearances that would not happen in the event of a mistrial. And so I put on here, right here, this is the theme of the whole motion, because a lot of this is redundant, but that's just how they have to write it. But anyways, the theme of this motion for me is right here. Miss Hill betrayed her oath of office for money and fame. Because what they're all that I just read that she supposedly, allegedly did, yeah, that's a no-no. That is a no-no. Y'all, this is some stuff. This is like stuff that would happen in my small town USA area. I can't believe it's national news. Okay, so let me get you to the next slide. All right. Oh, I put a heart on there. I know who that's about. Okay. And let me get caught up on mine. Okay. So next is the section called Statement of Facts. So this is where they're going to talk the facts. What, the facts of, I don't know. It's just, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's a statement of facts. So let me read along and then you can kind of get what I'm talking about, maybe. Okay, so Mr. Murdaugh was indicted for the murder of his wife Maggie and son Paul on July 14th, 2022. His murder trial began January 23rd, 2023. The presiding judge was the Honorable Clifton Newman, and that's why I put a heart, because a lot of us true crime folks love Clifton Newman. We call him America's Judge. And if you get a chance, please watch him. And if you ever see the words bring the jury, like B-R-A-N-G, that term everybody writes because of Judge Newman. Because he would always say, bring the jury, and they would come in. But anyways, so everybody loves him. And so the trial ran for 6 weeks, ending with convictions on the evening of March the 2nd, 2023, and sentencing on March the 3rd. They sentenced him the next day. It was like they were so over it. Anyways, the state rested its case, and the defense began its case on Friday, February the 17th, 2023. Remember that date, February 17th. Okay. Miss Hill began to enter jury rooms often. This was after, President's Day fell on February the 20th. So they didn't have court that day. So the following day they had court. And after that date, which was after when the defense started their case, she started coming into the jury rooms often. And we'll look at these exhibits because I'm not going to read these over and over. Like I said, this is 65 pages, and I'm not reading 65 pages. I'll give you the Cliff Notes. So on, they've got February the 23rd is when Murdaugh testified. And before he began his testimony is when she started that telling jurors, don't believe what he says, blah, whatever. Look at his actions. Look at his mood. Watch him closely. If she did this, you were supposed to have an unbiased mind as a juror. And one thing, I watch Defense Diaries, and defense attorney Bob Motta, love him. He said, when a juror starts, instead of thinking with their head, and they start thinking with their heart, then that's when, the defense has lost their case. And whether guilty or innocent, whatever you think, you've got to let the evidence that is presented in trial guide you. So her doing all this stuff, look at him, don't, that's no. Anyway, so the next day after court, let me get you on the right page. Okay, so the next day after Murdaugh's testimony, which was Monday, February the 27th, Ms. Hill told Judge Newman about this Facebook post. And she saw it on the evening of Friday, February the 24th, the day Murdaugh's testimony finished. While she was perusing a Facebook group called, it's called Walter Burrow Word of Mouth. Walter Burrow is the town or whatever they live in. But word of mouth, y'all, right here, this just makes me think that she is a busybody. Why are you on Facebook I mean, you're in this trial and you're going to get on Facebook and look. I mean, jurors and nobody's supposed to be getting on Facebook. Why are you getting on Facebook during this trial? You gonna stir that stuff up? Sounds like it. But anyways, I don't know. Okay, so just oh my gosh, I cannot with Facebook. That's why I quit with Facebook. Okay. All right. So they also and all these statements I've kind of skimmed over them. They are backed up what it says like Exhibit C or Exhibit A. You know, just like when you're writing a term paper and you put your little references in there. So they mention about Behind the Doors of Justice. That's her book that she wrote. And then they mentioned the Facebook post. Again, I'm skimming through this part because we will be going into the exhibits which talks about these things. So let me go ahead and skip. Okay. Okay. And then on this page, and like I said, we're not going to read all this, but one thing that caught my attention that I did not know about was that, and part of this whole Facebook post was related to a juror. It was supposedly her ex-husband. And then come to find out, the court received an email from like one of the jurors' coworkers or something like that. And they were concerned and that she was talking too much. Let's see, it says, yeah, right here, down at the bottom where I have it in the box, it says a coworker of a tenant of juror number 785 emailed the court on February the 27th stating that the tenant said her landlord was a juror and had expressed an opinion when delivering a refrigerator to the property more than a week earlier. Now, that's possible because y'all know small town USA problems. You might it might be a Saturday or something and you're headed over to, I don't know, trade day or going down to the Dollar General and you might be seeing Susie Q. Hey Susie Q, how are you? I hadn't seen you in a while. Guess what? Oh, I messed up and opened my mouth. But anyways, so I could see that happen. I mean, I could see it happening. It's not supposed to. But anyways, okay. So let's go ahead and skip on down. Okay. And so then right here, I've got it highlighted in green. I'm sorry, in purple. And that's where Judge Newman had said that he had not spoken with her today, and this is totally independent of any conversation regarding her. Now, is he talking about the juror or Miss Becky? Okay, it doesn't matter because we're going to go over it in a little bit. Sorry, I didn't study this today. I've been working on this for like 3 weeks. Y'all just don't know. It is not easy. Okay. Oh, okay. So here was another point that I wanted to make. Right here. It says in purple, I've got it highlighted. After the verdict and immediately before sentencing, Miss Hill pressured the jury to speak as a group to reporters from a network news show. And I'm like, who's got time for this crap? I mean, like, if I'm doing jury duty and you're guilty, you're innocent, whatever, I'm out of there. I'm not going to be hanging out doing whatever. I don't care if it's the biggest case of the century. I mean, God, I'm tired. Those seats aren't comfortable. Their butts hurt. They're hungry and irritable. And they have to, and let's not mention traumatized by all the autopsy pictures they got to see. And no, leave them alone. Okay. So then after that, not only did she do that, then she sent a memo to the film crew to be an addendum to a contract she had with them. And I'll read about that in detail. But I'm just like, you have got to be kept, because I'm sitting here thinking, okay, this is a bunch of crap. Where did they pull all this crap out? Who's got time for all this? This is busybody crap. And I'm like, who's got time for this? So anyways, so let's go ahead and we'll skip on down to legal standard. I think I skipped too many. Let me back y'all up. Okay, legal standard right there. Okay, so a defendant in a criminal prosecution is constitutionally guaranteed a fair trial by an impartial jury, and in order to fully safeguard this protection, it is required that the jury render its verdict free from outside influence. No influence. Oh my gosh. Y'all, this is what frustrates me. If this is true, okay, a lot of public people, including myself, I'm wanting transparency in our court system. I'm wanting cameras in the court. I want to see not only I'm not like wanting to be holding people accountable for their misconduct. I do, but my point is I want cameras in the court so I can learn. And then you've got the people that we need cameras in the courtroom because there's a lot of shenanigans and bullcrap going on and corrupt and all this stuff. And me and my naive, and I try to be on the, oh no, not them kind of side. And then here we go, Becky Hill. If she did this, making me eat crow, that's for dang sure. But anyways, okay, so we got to the legal standard. So in other words, they're like making their statement, this is what, we're wanting to do, pause the appeal process and hopefully get a new trial. They lay down the facts of the trial, then, and then what the facts they know, and then based on what legal standards that this would apply to so that they could try to get a pause on the appeal. And so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to skip some of this. Like I said, a lot of this is redundant because I'm going to turn around and read it in the exhibits. Okay, so right here where I've got circled in red, it says argument. So again, a state official, Rebecca Hill, the elected clerk of court, had extensive private communications with members of the jury during trial. This allegation is supported by sworn affidavits of jurors and a witness to juror interviews, testimony at in-camera proceedings, and other, I'm about to get there, bear with me, and other evidence, including Miss Hill's own book. The court therefore must hold a Rimmer evidentiary hearing. If the allegations are proven at the hearing, then under binding appellate precedent, the court must grant a new trial unless it clearly appears that the subject matter of the communication was harmless and could not have affected the verdict. Well, if this is true, we know affected the verdict. So this was a 6-week trial, and where I've got facts. In a 6-week trial, people will talk when they should not. Mistakes will be made, and I agree, because people are human. The participants in a trial are fallible human beings. Lawyers combing the proceedings after the fact will always find they made mistakes and errors. If that were enough to force a redo of a trial, no verdict would stand and trials would be repeated forever. And that's the truth. But this issue before the court is not ordinary. And right where I've got underlined all in red and it says, yes. Okay. The issue here is that an elected state official engaged in intentional misconduct, deliberately violating a defendant's constitutional right to a fair trial before an impartial jury. I can't say jury, not jewelry, to secure financial gain for herself, where a state actor engages in private communication with the jury about the merits of the prosecution, the verdict is impossible to sustain. Okay, so whatever the case, they're saying that she used her job to make more money that was outside of her job. So, all right, let's go ahead and I want to move on to exhibits. All right, so let's look at Exhibit A and let's talk about affidavits. Okay, so like an affidavit is a written sworn statement. I used to, at one of my former jobs, I would have to get clients if they didn't have like proof of income or that they no longer worked or whatever, then we would have, and they didn't have like some kind of document showing that proof, then we would have to get them to fill out an affidavit stating, I no longer, work at blah, blah, blah as of whatever date. And they had to sign it. And that's a sworn statement. That's like taking an oath. Like you are saying, I promise that this is true. So from my personal experiences, people were very skittish about filling out affidavits. They were like, what does this mean? What, it says right here, blah, blah, and it made them nervous. And I'm like, it's just stating that you're telling the truth about what you're saying. And they're like, oh, okay. And so then, of course, the ones that they were telling the truth, guess what? They didn't mind filling it out. So let me get on here with you. But anyway, so that's what an affidavit is. In other words, it is, and it can be used in trial as evidence. So, all right. So this first affidavit that we're going to look at, and just to let you know too, if you're not familiar with it, unless they come out and say it, like in these documents, which you can see they're redacted, is that the jurors' names are covered up and we still only know them as by their juror numbers. So this first affidavit is juror number 630 from the Murdaugh trial. So, and again, some of this, I'm not going to read every little thing. I just want you guys to see what these affidavits look like and how they're typed up. So this one I'll just kind of go over. Says personally appeared before me, redacted, which in other words, they put their name, who being first duly sworn deposes and states as follows. So in other words, what these statements is what the person said and that they're true. Okay. So number one, I was juror number 630 in the case of State of South Carolina versus Murdaugh, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's great. Okay, number two, toward the end of the trial, after the President's Day break, remember the holiday I told you they didn't have court and they came back? Okay, but before Murdaugh testified, the Clerk of Court told the jury not to be fooled, which I understood to mean that Mr. Murdaugh would lie when he testified. So right there, this person is saying that, they're trying to do their job as a juror. She says not to be fooled. Well, a jury's supposed to be unbiased. And now they're thinking, oh, well, the Clerk of Court said Murdaugh, don't be fooled by him. And that made me think he would lie. Well, right there, that's affecting jurors. Okay. On to the next one. Number three. she told the jury, watch him closely immediately before he testified, including look at his actions and look at his movements, which I understood to mean that he was guilty. Y'all, why is she doing this? This is part of what everybody is trying to fix. And here she is. We're in the 21st century, and she and a woman. I mean, we're all fighting for, people to take us serious, and she's got this position. And oh my gosh, Walter Burr, word of mouth is all I got to say. All right. Anyways, number 4. After he testified, the foreperson, redacted, juror number 826 said Mr. Murdaugh was crying on cue. That juror, the foreperson, that's who, everybody's like, okay, if, I guess the foreperson's like their spokesperson to, like let the clerk of court know if, they have a question or whatever. They're not even supposed to be saying that. The jurors, you don't talk to each other like this until it's time to deliberate. You don't share what you're thinking. You don't make comments. You don't go, oh my gosh, I think they're faking, but I don't know. You don't say that. You keep it to yourself until it's time to deliberate. I mean, I don't understand how hard that is. Okay, so number 5, the foreperson criticized the former foreperson for handling Mr. Murdaugh a box of tissues. During the trial, he cried a lot. Everybody said he was faking. I don't know. I don't really care. Do I think he's guilty? Yes. So I just want to put that on record. But anyways, and you could see in trial that a juror hand him a box of tissues. Okay, that's just, some people are just courteous like that. Like if you see somebody, if I see somebody crying, I got a tissue. I don't care where I'm at. If I'm at, I don't go anywhere that often. But anyways, if I did, if I saw them crying, I'd be like, you need tissue? Do you need anything? And I know this was court, but still, she felt the need to hand him a tissue. So she did. Anyways, okay. So handed a box of tissues, and then the new foreperson said, that is what the defense wants us to do. Well, yeah, it's their job. They're fighting to keep him from going to prison. Anyways, okay, so number 6, the jury frequently discussed the case during breaks before deliberations. 4 cardinal rules. Do not talk about the case. How hard is that? Okay, I'm sorry. If I'm yelling too loud and it's hurting y'all's ears, I am so sorry. But I cannot help it. You are right, Judy. He is guilty. Don't think the clerk had any influence. Well, that's a good thought. That really is a good thought. But this is the thing about that, though, and this is why this is so important for our justice system. Do I think he's guilty of sin? Yes. But if she said this to these jurors, that is not right. And that goes against what our system is made up of. That's what it's supposed to be. And y'all, I cannot stress how much I know he's guilty. But if they messed up, then he does deserve a retrial. This is my opinion. And you can have your opinions, and that is fine. But that's how the system is supposed to work. If the rules aren't followed correctly, then, we might have to do a retrial. And thanks to, if she really did this, then she messed it up for everybody. And that's why it's so important. Follow the rules in the first place, and then we wouldn't have to go through this crap. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I got to get off my soapbox. No, I'm not. I'm going to stay on it till the end. What am I talking about? Okay. All right. So anyways, she came into the jury room a lot. Let's see here. Miss Hill and the foreperson had private conversations on multiple occasions. Okay, goes back to the 4 cardinal rules. And remember that analogy I told you about dropping a pencil and leaning over and asking some. Okay, right here. That is suspicious. God, it makes me so mad. Why can't people follow the rules? I mean, how hard is it? Okay, and so then on that last page that I have pulled up, okay, let's see here. Okay, so when they began deliberations, Miss Hill told them this shouldn't take us long, and that if we deliberated past 11 p.m., we would be taken directly to a hotel. We had driven from our homes that morning and were not prepared to stay overnight. Smokers on the jury asked to be allowed to take smoke breaks, but were told they could not smoke until deliberations were complete. Y'all. Okay, number one, they were never sequestered. So why would they be sequestered for during deliberations? Seriously, they got to go home every day. So why would they have to go to a hotel? That is taking advantage of people that does not know the rules. And again, some jurors are sequestered, some are not. And it makes me mad because if she really did this, she used her position to intimidate these jurors, to force them to hurry up and make a decision. And then not letting smokers take their smoke break during, okay, well, so people that had hypoglycemia couldn't take a snack break? I mean, what is going on? When I read this, I was like, what? As you can see on my notes. Anyways, and then they put on here that they felt pressured by the other jurors. See, that shouldn't be going on. And then after the verdict, immediately before sentencing, Miss Hill pressured the jury to speak as a group to reporters from the television show. No, you do not have to talk to anyone. And if you listen to the judge's instructions at the beginning, and he'll give instructions for jurors before deliberations, he says you don't have to talk to anybody. Oh, that pisses me off. I cannot. Anyway, so the black is where the juror signed, and then it was notarized by their paralegal, the defense team's paralegal. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next one. And I mean, y'all, this is not just one. I mean, we've got more than one. All right. Let's go to next affidavit. Let me make sure I get the right one up. Okay. Did I finish that? Heck no. Let me go back to the other. I'm so sorry. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Okay. So then here's the next affidavit. And again, I'm just going to touch on some, well, you see that mad face right there where I put y'all. And let me catch up with you. Okay. So again, I mean, we're like, okay. So in this case, their paralegal completed this, affidavit on behalf of the juror. Number 2 says it says they met with the juror and she agreed, but at the meeting on August 6th, she indicated she would sign an affidavit. However, they were unable to arrange with her a suitable time and place. So during the meeting, she relayed the following information to Holly Miller, the paralegal for the defense. And so this is Holly Miller's affidavit where she spoke to this juror. So during the trial, the juror witnessed the clerk of court, Becky Hill, come to the jury room, and her and the foreperson went into the bathroom. After Miss Hill said the let's see, after Miss Hill and the foreperson exited the bathroom, Miss Hill told the jurors they could not ask the foreperson questions. Y'all, what? I mean, and see, here's the thing too. I look for patterns, and all of this is very similar. Some of the things are not going to be worded the same, because when you're in a situation, you've got this person's truth and that person's truth, and or their opinion and their opinion, and then there's the truth. And so there's going to be some differences, but overall, all this has been the same. And then right here it says, several times during the trial, Ms. Hill told the jurors that the media would want to interview jurors at the end of the trial. During one of these conversations, she passed out business cards from the media to jurors. I mean, who gave her business cards? I mean, were they paying her to give business cards to the jurors? What's that all about? I'm concerned. At the end of the trial, Ms. Hill told, and it's redacted, that no one from the media wanted to interview her. Now that ticks me off, because that is some mean girl behavior right there. And I'm not talking about funny mean girl behavior. I mean, that is some bad mean girl behavior. Nobody wants to interview you. Oh, hell to the no. Nobody's going to talk to me like that. Oh my gosh. Okay. On to the next. Let's see. Right before the defense put up their case, Ms. Hill told the jurors, y'all are going to hear things that will throw you all off. Don't let this distract or mislead you. See, after Alex testified, 8 jurors indicated they did not believe his testimony. They are not supposed to be discussing. And why are they counting? Who said, I mean, what? Oh my gosh. I'm trying to bite my tongue, and I'm trying not to, because that's the whole point of this, is for us to talk about it. But oh my gosh. Okay. I believe it's, okay. Okay. And then we get to the end of this one. And let's see here. Okay. Oh, here's the other thing. So, you know, and those that know and those that don't know, during the trial, the jurors were taken to Moselle, and that was the location of where Maggie and Paul were murdered. So on this affidavit that Holly completed for that juror, it says, during the visit to Moselle, juror 826, which was the foreperson, and it, I don't know, because it's redacted, maybe another juror, I don't know, walked to the scene together. No. Again, I duck you, you duck me. Okay. Then juror 826, the foreperson, began walking with the clerk of court, Becky Hill. And you know, okay, maybe we don't know, but I'm getting vibes that Miss Becky is this busybody. Oh, let me tell you what so-and-so said, and blah, 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 and oh, no, and clutches her pearls. And that's what I'm getting from her. And y'all, and then she's turning around and doing things she shouldn't be. Anyways, okay. All right, let's see. Okay, so, and then the juror said there were times jurors were not kept together, but were in 2 separate rooms. Okay. I haven't been on jury duty. I mean, I've been summoned, but I wasn't eligible. But everything I've seen on TV, and when I say TV, I'm talking about movies and what I've heard, because, you know, on TV, we don't get to see the jurors, and we don't get to see where the jury room or whatever. But I know good and well that the jurors are not in 2 separate damn rooms. They are in 1 room. So why are they in 2 separate rooms? Is it all the boys come over here and all the girls come over here? I mean, what? Why are they in 2 separate rooms? I don't understand. Okay, I'm reading on. So blank, again, we don't know who, noticed jurors talking about the case before deliberations began. Neither she nor blank, juror 785, joined in on the conversations about Alex. Well, good for them, because they shouldn't be. Okay. As the jury was deliberating, she believes Judge Newman. Now, y'all, Judge Newman name is in this, and this upsets me because he is America's judge, and I just can't. Okay. Judge Newman came to the room she was in and told her the jury would have to spend the night at a hotel if they did not have a vote by a certain time, but she does not recall the time deadlines. Y'all, if he really said that, I'm going to be tore up because I just think he is like so up here. But this is the only one that said that. So maybe I don't know, maybe she thought it was him and it really wasn't. Okay. Juror 741 was the first former juror to provide information that the clerk of court made statements to members of the jury about the evidence presented during the trial. Prior to jury deliberations, Ms. Hill conducted was corroborated by other jurors during subsequent interviews. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, let's go on to the next exhibit. Okay. Hang in there. Like I said, I'm a one-woman show. Is this the next one? I don't. If it is, we'll just go with it. I'm going to wing it. I'm tired. All right. How's the chat going? Oh, Judy, I like that. The defense can lie for the defendant, but prosecution has to have facts. Well, really, they all need to have facts because the code of ethics for defense attorneys, and this is something when you come back and we'll have more discussions, and because I used to think defense attorneys were the bad guys, and yeah, it's just like any group of whatever. You're going to have your good and you're going to have your bad. And defense attorneys, code of ethics, they shouldn't be lying. So hopefully they're being honest. Let's see here. Okay, back to the exhibits. Bear with me. Apparently I can't chew gum and talk at the same time. Okay, so this is going to be a transcript of records from, and it's just an excerpt. It's not the whole thing, but it's an in-camera conference. And in-camera means there's no public and no media. Okay, so let's see. All right. Okay, so basically the appearance is the prosecution, and it has the list, and you can see where I've got that written. And then right here is the defense attorneys. So they were there. And of course, Judge Newman was there, and it says, and a jury. But, well, I guess they did talk in front of the jury. I don't know. Okay. And so the transcript, and I've got, right now I've got the court highlighted as blue and the juror as green. So, and when it says the court, it's Judge Newman who's asking the question. So this talks about the Facebook. Have you put anything on Facebook? And the juror said, not regarding the case. I put a positive post on. I gave Miss Becky my full access to my Facebook. I've put positive posts on. I've done that for the past 3 years. But, and then the judge asked, has anyone posted anything on Facebook about you? And the juror says, I wasn't aware of it until Miss Becky told me today. What did she tell? What did she tell me? I guess it's supposed to be, what did she tell you? She asked me if I had an ex-husband, and I said, yeah. And she asked me if I had talked to him about the case. and being on jury duty. And she was like, no. And I'm going to kind of summarize this. And I questioned her as to why she was asking me that. Because she hasn't seen her ex-husband since 2014. This is 2023. And so judge asked her, did he live in the area? And she said he does now. And he was like, okay. And she said, and I have 3 restraining orders against him. And so they carry on. And then she says, I was very upset after she told me that. I said, I have 3 restraining orders against him. I wouldn't have anything to do with him if I didn't have a child with him. But I haven't seen him since 2014 when we got a divorce. I talked to him within the last year because I got a call at work that my son was in jail, blah, blah, blah. I've not seen him, talked to him, or anything else since 2014 other than getting restraining orders in Colleton County. Yeah. Okay. And he goes, wow, the judge, that is. And she said, Miss Becky said she had went to look for the post again and it had been deleted. And I don't know who she talked to or anything else, but she said apparently. And he goes, when did she tell you that? And the juror said, it was after you let us go on that last break. And she said, I was very upset. And she came down and talked to me and said that apparently, I don't know who talked to him, but said that he was drunk and he removed the post. I'm going to catch all that. Okay. And so the judge said, so has she discussed the case with any of the jurors? Has the clerk discussed anything about the case with anyone on that jury? And the juror said, not that I'm aware of. Okay. And then he says, okay, she was just discussing with, and the juror says, she pulled me aside. And when we went downstairs after the last break, I want to say it was after lunch, blah, blah, blah. She came downstairs after the break and told me that she had found out that he was drunk and made a drunk post talking about her ex-husband. And I don't know what happened from there. I have no clue. So in other words, basically what Miss Becky saw on Walterboro word of mouth was this juror's ex-husband posted that this juror was telling him about the trial or what she thought about the trial, or maybe how she was going to vote, whatever the case. That is what Miss Becky had told her. So he goes on to question, like ask the juror, where do you work? And she says, I work at a monkey farm. And I think she was kind of being a little funny. And he was like, monkey farm? And I'm like, I'm sitting here going, like a literal monkey farm? Like, I didn't know they had that in South Carolina. But no, she clears it up and says she works in a lab. And all she does is watch monkeys. It's a testing facility, like where they try to come up with cures for AIDS, cancer, and leukemia. And so he carries on with her about that. And so then he said, okay, at this point in time, have you made up your mind as to guilt or innocence? Now, remember, the trial's not over. And she said, I haven't. I was waiting to hear on closing arguments because that's what you're supposed to do. You're not even supposed to decide until you go in that room for deliberations. And so he says, okay, any questions for anyone to ask? So in other words, remember I told you like the defense and the prosecution was in there and nobody really had any questions. So that was basically what that was about. And let me get us to the next one. Again, I'm just kind of summarizing because some of this is, well, it's just ridiculous. Small town bull. Beep. Okay. Let's get to my part where it says this. Okay. So they even, okay. So this was part of another Oh, my bad. Okay, so after he was like, they were done, asking questions or whatever. So then she's like, everybody left me. She needed a ride back to her car. And so, and they were all saying goodnight or whatever. And then after juror 785 exited the room, judge said, "Oh boy, I'm not too pleased about the clerk interrogating a juror as opposed to coming to me and bringing it to me." Now, we have no idea if he reprimanded her or had any discussions because we're not privy to that information and it's not on record, so we don't have anything. But I'm going to hope he did because I love him. He is like an awesome judge, and I just want to believe that he did. So I'm going to say right now he did. Because he reprimanded her, but he didn't keep on because, well, they had to get through that trial. That was a long 6 weeks. Okay, so again, we've got another affidavit of a juror that Holly Miller, the paralegal, did. And, here we go. Same thing. Jurors were stationed in 2 separate rooms. I've got that circled right here. This is the one that it was him and his mother. It was a juror and he lived with his mother. So, maybe he couldn't write well. Maybe he couldn't sign his name. I'm not sure. That's just sometimes another reason why someone will do a affidavit on behalf of someone else. But this guy testified, that jurors were stationed in 2 separate rooms, and that when they were not in the courtroom, he was in a room with mostly other male jurors. See, it was like, why are they dividing them up into guys and gals? That makes no sense. That's not how it works. He was not in the same room as what I'm going to call the main jurors that have been discussing, and stated that Miss Hill would visit the other room more often. Yeah, because she was over at the hen house and they were all over there gossiping. God, that makes me mad. Okay, I don't know if that's true. That's what I'm thinking. That's what my spidey senses tell me. Okay. But anyways, he could not hear what she was telling the other jurors. Well, no crap. She was in a total different room. All right. So during the trial, juror number 326 and others discussed the case prior to deliberations. Here we go again. People's talking. They're not even supposed to. This guy did not discuss the case with anyone outside of the jurors. Well, I hope he didn't discuss it with anybody. He further commented that some of the jurors were going into their office because of financial reasons, and that people were talking to coworkers because coworkers wanted info. It is none of their business. Oh my gosh. But this is true small town crap. You wouldn't believe something happened to me one time, and I promise you, when I would see people, they'd go, "Heather, what happened? What happened? I can't believe that. Oh my gosh." Wow. And I was like, and you know what? If I knew now what I knew then, I'd tell them, none of your business, move along. All right. So, anyways, so again, we've got, oh yeah, and here was something else that he mentioned. After the trial concluded, a group chat was formed with the jurors, which it was after the trial. So, I mean, they could talk about it because once they're released, they can talk. But juror number 326 dropped off the group chat because there were too many chats. I bet. And I bet some of it was put in the Walterboro word of mouth. That's just my guess. All right. The only thing about, oh yeah, he also mentioned about the smoke breaks where, they were told by Miss Hill they could not take a smoke break during deliberations. and he said there were 6 smokers on the jury. So half the jury smoked, and she's telling them, y'all can't take a smoke break until you're decided, guilty or not guilty. So anyways, all right. And then this was something else that, okay, so I felt like these affidavits were done really well. Again, I'm not a fan of Poot and Jim, and they probably didn't write this out. They probably got Holly or somebody like that to fill it out. But whatever the case, I like how it was laid out. But the only one thing on here, this question number 9, I feel like was leading this juror to answer what they wanted to say. And so Holly put, when asked if he thought the clerk of court, Becky Hill, was inserting herself in the process of the trial, juror number 326 responded, I can see this. Okay. They shouldn't have asked him that. They were fine just with what he was saying. So I felt like they kind of screwed the pooch on that one. Okay. And then again, it may not even matter. Okay. So now we're going to go to Exhibit K. This is the memo that Becky Hill sent on May the 9th to the, let's say, DreamWorks, Texas Crew Productions. And it's addendum to Texas Crew Productions, LLC. Okay. Dear blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm looking forward to your upcoming docuseries on the Murdaugh case, and I hope you'll be able to use some of my interview. I'm sure she did, because if you see the Murdaugh, I think it's part 2 on Netflix, I feel like she is the narrator. She is like all through that whole second part. It's ridiculous. And then, okay, I wrote a note. Now she's concerned about, because right here she says, because I'm an elected official, we need to modify 3 clauses in the location agreement you presented me as it relates to my authority. Oh my gosh, y'all. She is over the top. There are so many people that I know in my small town USA that she is exactly like them, y'all. I can't. One of them, in fact, is on, I'll just say, a council. And this chick will get on Facebook, and this is no lie, Girl Scouts on her. She will get on Facebook, and this is one of the reasons I got off Facebook too. But she'll get on there, and then like if somebody gripes about whatever, she will attack them. It's so unprofessional. And then that person will argue back and call her out, and then she goes back and deletes her comments. And well, guess what? It's too late, because there's this thing called screenshots where people take screenshots of what she said. So anyways, she's totally unprofessional. And when I think of Miss Becky and these allegations, she is one of the people that comes up in mind. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, get off the Facebook. It causes too much drama. That's your public service announcement for the evening. All right, now back to this memo. All right, so 3 dates and location fee. Low Country Story LLC agrees to pay the Colleton County Treasury $1,000 per day, so long as it does not supersede any court proceedings. Payment will be made by the close of production. There's some miscellaneous stuff. I'm not going to read it. Oh, apparently I am, because I put laugh my ass off. Let's see here. Oh, and then she put all bold. As an elected official, I have no authority outside of the state of South Carolina. Okay. I wonder what kind of authority she thinks she has in the state of South Carolina. I mean, I want a list about her authority. So then she gets on here, and you can see why is all that handwritten? Again, this is not professional. Just because you initialed it and signed it does not make it look professional. In exchange for the use of the likeness of Rebecca, y'all, I cannot. Okay. In exchange for the use of the likeness of Rebecca Hill in an interview, a minimum of 4.05-second video and audio clip will accompany the usage on the first reference. The book cover for the book Behind the Doors of Justice, The Murdaugh Murders, will be shown, and audio will include Becky's introduction as Clerk of Court for Colleton County, an author of the book. Well, look at there. And $10 says if she had to make a copy of this memo, she's got it somewhere, and then she added all that. But I'm just guessing. Oh my gosh, y'all. And there was also, and oh my gosh, I can't believe we've already been over an hour. But there was also, and I'll just bring it up. There was an affidavit by Philip Barber, and he was like the tech guy during the Murdaugh trial. He was the only one that I felt like when he questioned witnesses, you could kind of follow him, where like Poot was like grandstanding and trying to make these old jokes that nobody got. And then I felt like Jim was not confident because, well, because his client was guilty. But Philip, I felt like, did his job, and he was the tech guy. He was the only one that could work that machine that nobody could work, which was kind of sad. But anyways, so he did an affidavit, and he had downloaded back to that Facebook thing. He downloaded and checked, and come to find out that juror's ex-husband did not make such posts about that juror. He didn't, let's see what else. And it was even a different profile pic. It wasn't even the guy. So somebody made a fake profile on Facebook. Imagine that. Anyways, and put that fake post that juror did all that. Told her ex-husband, and they got drunk together. You know, the ex-husband she hadn't seen in like 10 years, that she has three, what is it? It's on the tip of my tongue. The restraining orders. There we go. I knew I'd get it. Let's see here. I'm trying to go through these. I didn't expect to last this long. I'm trying to think what else. I did want to show about the book, y'all. Okay, I'll hurry, I promise. Okay, I may be lying. Yes, Jane Lou Freebush. Watch out for them good old boys and the neighborhood gossips. Thank you. That is so true. Because I can't. I keep saying I can't, but I really can. All right, let me find where that. I want to find that book because here we go. It's this one. Because I want y'all to see it. Look at that. Oh my. Behind the Doors of Justice. Y'all, that is just reeked with drama. And I believe I read somewhere where she published her own book. Why didn't she have somebody else do it? Maybe it was cheaper. Maybe nobody wanted to do it. I don't know. I didn't find a reason. But anyways, so she co-authored this book. And anyways, I cannot. Let me get to the next. Okay. Let me find my copy. Bear with me. Technical difficulties. Not really. Okay. Okay, so in these excerpts from the book where I've got the asterisk, and there was this, and I'm not even going to say her name because I don't really care. I'm tired. Okay, so there was this National Wall Street Journal reporter who has covered the South for 18 years. She was the pool reporter and sent to Moselle with the pool photographer Andrew Whitaker of the Post and Courier newspaper. So in other words, they were picked. They didn't allow all the media to go out to Moselle. They were chosen to go out there. And so in her book, she says, in October 2021, Valerie signed a book deal with the division of the iconic Penguin Random House. I mean, why can't she just say random, Penguin Random House? Why is it got to be iconic? I mean, she's so, I know she co-authored this, but I don't care. This is, okay. Anyways, so couldn't find out, in the spring, it was her 55th birthday, and that reporter had her birthday. And this was, during the trial. So they decided to have a party for both of them at that reporter's Airbnb. And they invited many of her colleagues who were covering the trial for the regional, talking about the reporter and the national media outlets. So here is Miss Becky and a whole bunch of media folks hanging out at an Airbnb celebrating their birthdays and she said they had birthday cake, a lot of laughs, and a little truth serum in the form of liquid refreshments. Oh my gosh. Somebody. I would never buy this book. I have trouble reading this because it drives me insane. She talks about here that they discussed the case privately and wouldn't promise not to tell anybody of who they thought was who thought that Murdaugh was guilty and who thought he was innocent. But what I can say is that many of the party guests agreed with what ended up becoming the actual verdict of the trial. Y'all know that was a big old gossip session. And then alcohol on top of it, there ain't no telling what came out of their mouths. So then she talks about how they went Sunday night after Alex was sentenced. So the trial's over. They go to the Today Show, and it's like her and some of the jurors. And she talked about like this was the first time she flew on a plane, and they went to the Today Show, and they were whisked away from the 850-foot skyscraper building by a driver in a black Chevy Tahoe to a different studio near 30 Rock, where Dateline takes some of its segments. I mean, she is like feeling like she is a celebrity. This is my take on her book. That's what I feel like she's doing. She's like, oh, and we got to do this and we got to do that and blah, blah, blah. And who cares? Oh my gosh. Those that bought this book, I'm sorry. Please get a refund. Okay. All right. And then on this page, she talks about how one of the jurors mentioned to a producer that she had a craving for pizza and cheesecake. And next thing you knew, both were delivered in time for lunch. Yay. Okay. That's awesome. So y'all got what you wanted. You were treated like celebrities. Blah, blah. The jurors told her they loved their 15 minutes of fame in the Big Apple. And I'm just like, I'm about to hurl. This is just like some nonsense. If this was the case, I can write a book. Okay. So then the next chapter, We the People, Duty, Honor, and Service. Okay. And then she starts it with a Bible verse. Serve wholeheartedly as if you were serving the Lord, not people, because you know that the Lord will, I can't read that. I don't have my glasses on. Okay. Will reward each one for whatever good they do. Ephesians. Okay. Let me tell you something. This is part of Southern hypocrisy at its best. I can tell you from my own experience, so many shit asses that are jerks and mean girls, but by gosh, come Sunday morning, they will be at the church knocking the doors down, and they will quote every Bible verse by heart. But the one thing they can't do is live by it. and it just makes me sick. So I call it Southern hypocrisy. But anyways, moving along. So, oh, and then here she starts talking about the jurors, like, you know, it's always a unique experience working with them, and that they had some behind the scenes happenings with jurors, the alternates and the originals from the Murdaugh trial. While most of the jurors were focused and engaged during the Murdaugh trial, we did have one juror who was an alternate at one point. Let's see, this doesn't make, we did have one juror who was an alternate at one point who was not. Oh, yeah, I had to yeah, whoever wrote that, that was a bad sentence. Use that AI stuff to make it sound better. But anyways, in other words, there was a juror that wasn't that great to work with. Okay, she was more focused on the crowd, who was watching, who was or wasn't following Judge Newman's rules, and so on. Okay, so she's saying this person was a tattletale? Isn't this stuff that Becky should be doing? I mean, I don't know. But what does it matter? And why are you tattletelling in your book that you published, I think? Oh my gosh. Y'all, this woman is like 50 something years old. Why is she being a tattletale? I don't understand. Why is she being a mean girl at 50 whatever? Shouldn't she be grown out of that? Okay, and so then on to the next page. I've got it right here. She mentions Monkey Farm. Y'all, that lady, that was like in jest, or it was a joke when that chick was saying it, because Judge Newman was friendly and he would like try to get to know some of these people. And so she was probably joking, saying she worked at Monkey Farm. And here this lady puts, then there was the egg lady juror. This juror worked on the monkey farm in the Low Country, and she drove Judge Newman bananas one weekend. Pun intended. Oh my gosh. Egg lady. And first of all, I don't like her calling this juror egg lady. What happened was, like if you're at work and somebody may have a farm or have access to like eggs, they may have some chickens or whatever, or they might have some tomatoes and might have grown some in their little small garden, have too many for them or whatever the case, and they bring it to work or wherever you're at and say, hey, I got extra so-and-so, y'all want some? And people will go, yeah, give me some of I'll take some of those tomato, squash, onion, whatever, whoever's brought eggs. And so when that juror got dismissed because apparently somebody didn't want them to be a juror because they weren't leaning toward him being guilty, she asked you're supposed to be able to get your stuff from the juror's room, or in this case, rooms. And she had her eggs in there. So she asked the judge, and you can hear her in the trial say, can I get my eggs? And he was like, your eggs? And she was like, yeah. And what had happened was one of the jurors was nice and brought eggs for all the jurors who wanted some to take home. And so she wanted to make sure she got eggs. I mean, have you seen the price of groceries? I mean, I don't blame her. I'd ask for my eggs too, and water. And she needed, I think, her purse. So anyways, and then for it to be mentioned in this book, Monkey Farm, it just drives me bananas. Becky drives me bananas. And then here we go through the Facebook page, Walter Burrow, word of mouth. Oh my gosh. These gossip groups have got to stop. They're ruining people and lowering their IQs. Okay, I put lies there, but I don't even know. We're going to get through some of this. Looks like she left out some of the facts. Surprise. She talks about people having a moral compass, and I'm like, where's your moral compass? Because it definitely isn't in this book. I even put an eye roll. Let's see here. And I'm sorry, I keep jumping back. Let's see here. This was back at the Moselle when I told you, the jurors got to walk the property, and she said everybody was looking at each other, and some of us from the courthouse, law enforcement, or jury at Moselle had an epiphany and shared our thoughts with our eyes. At that moment, many of us standing there knew, I knew and they knew that Alex was guilty. Oh, if I didn't love my head too much, I'd bang it right now. Okay. And then as they were leaving, listen to this. The wind had died down mysteriously, and the sun began to shine through the clouds. I mean, I can just see her acting this out, y'all. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm done. I'm so done with this book. I can't read anymore. It's drama. Oh, yay. We're done with that. Okay. All right. So that is basically what I wanted to share. I did not mean to go this long, but we did find out there was a response to this motion, and it was from the South Carolina Court of Appeals, because remember I told you this was to the appellate court for them to pause Alex appeal process. And so, and what it says is appellant filed a motion to hold this appeal in abeyance and remand to the circuit court to allow him to file a motion for a new trial pursuant to Rule 29B of the South Carolina Rules of Criminal Procedure. Respondent filed a return and appellant filed a reply. After careful consideration, we grant appellant's motion. So in other words, they are granting his request to, like I said, I'm using the word pause the appellate process, because this is going to be kicked back down to Judge Newman's court. Appellant should provide this court with status updates every 30 days. So he doesn't lose his appellate status. He's got to, keep them updated every 30 days. And because if he doesn't do it, then he'll lose the or it will result in a dismissal of his appeal. So that's where we got. Any questions? Man, that was a lot. And that wasn't even everything I wanted to say, but that wore me out. So overall thoughts, I can't help it. I cannot help but believe that she did that. There was too many different people that filled out affidavits. I didn't show them all. I think they have like 3 or 4. And people that they just don't fill that out. And I don't foresee Poot and Jim and Philip to be paying people, because Murdaugh didn't pay them. How are they going to pay people to fill out affidavits? If you look at that, I just want the process to be right. We're at a time where people are more educated. We're trying to go for transparency in court. And then it's like we have so many steps forward, and then something like this happens, and then it throws us back into the dark ages. And it's just exhausting and troublesome and not where a lot of us want to be. But anyways, I had fun. I hope you had fun listening to me complain. Well, it was really just my analysis of this case. But anyways, so I'm looking to make sure I didn't miss anything that I want to talk about. Okay, I didn't. So guess what? It's that time, friends. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you found this somewhat informative. Please give it a like. Also, click the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content videos, because right now I have no idea if when I'm going to do my next, in case you missed it, live, because I really want to do it soon. I'm going to be covering Karen Reed. And if you don't know the Karen Reed story and John O'Keefe, Karen Reed was a finance lecturer at Bentley College, and in Massachusetts, and she has been accused of killing her Boston cop boyfriend. But here's the thing. They're saying that she ran over him with her Lexus. I think it's Lexus SUV, going backwards while doing a 3-point turn. There is so much to this stuff. I can't wait to share with you. So, anyways, until next time, stay safe. Be aware of your surroundings. And please do the right thing.